Welcome to the Young Man with Reams. We share the journey of a young man and the simple story. Welcome aboard.
Welcome to another episode of The Young Man. And of course, you know how we do. We do every Friday. We bring guests to share their highs and their lows and everything that concerns them. All right, today is no different. I have my very good Egbon here. His name is Gabriel Olokunwolu. I hope I got the pronunciation very well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So, Gabriel is a seasoned executive and CEO and founder of Tech Chack with a strong background in infrastructural engineering. Gabriel has over 7 years of experience specializing in SaaS application for enterprise solution. His expertise lies in leveraging cloud platforms such as AWS and Azure to build scalable and resilient infrastructure for clients. Throughout his career, Gabriel has collaborated with leading companies including Sentient, LexisNexis, Nike, and PSEG. He has successfully designed and implemented robust infrastructure solutions that cater to the demanding needs of modern applications by harnessing the power of Kubernetes and cloud platform. Gabriel enables seamless horizontal scaling, automated deployment, and efficient resource management. Don't worry, guys. He would explain everything I'm reading in bio. Okay, Gabriel's profile high, highlights his ability to deliver results and drive customer satisfaction. His deep understanding of containerization, cloud platforms, and orchestrations technologies enable him to create architectures that optimize performance and ensure high availability. Gabriel's contribution has resulted in improving application performance and success project deliveries for his clients. As the CEO and founder of TechChack, Gabriel not only provides strategic leadership but also takes charge of the infrastructure and development aspect. He thrives in dynamic environments and collaborations closely with cross-functional team to deliver efficient and reliable solutions. Gabriel fosters a collaborative work culture, promoting knowledge and sharing and ensuring that his team remains up to date with latest industry trends and best practices. With his entrepreneurial mindset, technical acumen, and leadership skill, Gabriel sets the foundation for TechChart's success. His ability to drive innovation and operational excellence enable the company to deliver cutting-edge solution to clients in a rapid revolving technology landscape. Now, I know he did not put about his latest achievement. I'm going to ask him, all right, ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do. Let's give Gabriel, the young man, welcome. Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Yeah, thank you, Gabriel. And I'm so glad that you came here because for me, bringing people is not just getting someone to just come share their story, but someone that has something to say. Gabriel, thank you for coming. And I'll just get right to it. Yeah. So, Gabriel, how has it been for you? Because one of the things that, let's just talk about the recent achievement. You are too humble of a man not to even just mention that in your bio. But what about Forbes? Forbes Technology Council. You missed that out. I know
Yeah.
you were like, that's a big deal, man. That's
Yeah.
how did that come about?
Yeah. Thank you so much. I actually, yeah, it was late last year, I would say, towards the end of last year. I actually got one of my friends who's actually a member of the Forbes Council itself actually referred me, and I put in my application and all that, and I was able to actually be, getting as a technology council member. It's
Mm.
pretty, yeah, it's pretty nice and really cool.
So you have a lot of things. I want us, we'll talk about that later, but I just want people to just feel the vibe of your story. Like, so how was it for you to get into this? A lot of it's so mind blowing what you do. Like, like reading your bio, I'm like, oh wow, this is like deep, deep stuff. So how did it start for you?
So for me, it actually started. I think coming to America was like I found limitless opportunity, and I have this thing about me that I'm always wanting to continue learning something. I want to continue learning something and keep growing, especially when I get reward for it. So,
Yeah.
and when I came to America, I initially wanted to go into like economics and teach
Okay.
at a college level and do research. But I for some reason, I eventually I did my masters and I found out I would rather get more into like data analysis. So I
Okay.
got into data analysis, and from there, I had more fun working with data. And then I started writing codes for automation, as it pertains to data. And that took me into like the cloud aspect of things.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
I got into cloud. My first job was with World Wrestling Entertainment, and then from there, I grew more passion for it. And my next move was actually to start teaching people, helping other people, especially like Africans, and Black people in general. I'm
Yeah.
more passionate about African Americans, helping them get into tech, and
Mm-hmm.
everything sort of blew up from there. I was teaching like very small number of people, and a lot of them were getting jobs, and they were referring other people, and it grew beyond what I could envision it being. So I started scaling out, and that was how we built Tech Track in itself.
Mm-hmm.
You just have it such that people can actually have like a learning path for
Mm-hmm.
themselves,
Yeah.
and they can learn and they can find mentors. They can build a community and do hands-on projects.
Mm-hmm.
And then even after that, it grew out to a point where we started having people that want to train others, saying, "Oh, I
Mm.
love your platform. Would you guys let us bring our members here to leverage it for teaching and others?" And then we came up with a training management system where educators can actually come and put their courses there and their trainings and have people
Hmm.
pay them for it. And so that's sort of where we are right now. But everything grew from different stages into that, and we're still expanding.
Wow. One of the interesting thing, like I'm so blown away by this story. Yeah, because I feel most people listening now will be like, how did you grow so fast from learning, having the passion, then trying to teach people, and then teaching other people, teaching people? It's like so let's just break it down, right? So what's your core? What would you say is your core of this whole thing? Like when you started, what would you say is your core thing?
Um, so core can actually be in different, depending on where we want to look it from.
Yeah.
I mean, are you looking at it from a viewpoint of like what my main focus is about, right?
Yeah, like what was it for you? Like, what okay, for instance, currently, yeah, what's your core right now? Like, you've built a lot of skills,
Yep.
right, over the years. Because I just want us to chart a course in our discussion. As per someone is listening now, okay, I want to get into tech, but okay, you started from this point, right? You majored at some point, then you moved to this, then you moved to that. So what was your core, and what is your core right now?
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So my
Yeah.
core is actually more towards infrastructure engineering, and
Yeah.
then
Okay.
also like product building. But it's more of an infrastructure engineering, and that's because every of the applications that are being built today, they revolve around living inside an infrastructure
Okay.
that lives in cloud. And that's why I do a lot of cloud engineering, infrastructure, data, and application hosting for the most part. So I'm more into like that infrastructure part, and especially in AWS and Azure for the most part. Those are like my
Mhm.
major part that I actually dive into.
Okay. Nice. All right. So building your focus for tech track now was more of, all right, you've learned this, then other people can learn it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's
Mm.
now doing with
Mm,
tech track itself now. People can now go there and follow like a specific pattern. We call it
mm,
roadmap. So roadmap is more like, well, you want to get a job, but there is this pathway where you
mm,
actually have to do some project. It's not just about taking lessons, just reading. It's really about being practical too. Like if you don't practice and put certain things into like create a project for yourself and build a portfolio, you would almost not find a job. And even if you find a job, it will be tough for you to keep the job because
mm,
everything relies heavily on what you've done before, the experiences you've had, the mistakes you've made, how you've approached, those mistakes. So that's what Tech Track is actually built on. Like we have that roadmap that takes you from study these parts. Now, when you're done studying it, do a project on that part you just studied to solidify the knowledge and kind of like validate that you know what you're doing. And it would also force you to research. So, in research, in terms of when you're trying to solve a problem, don't wait for
mhm.
people to tell you this is the answer. Try to go outside of your comfort zone to
Yeah.
find answers to those problems and then
Mhm,
come back. What that does to you is it builds your resilience and it
mhm.
takes you to a place where you would, whenever you face that type of problem in the future, which you would most likely face, your approach is different and your thought process is different. And it's also a very good way of building like brain exercise too, to
Yeah.
adapt to, especially if you're from a non-technical, traditional technical background, it adapts your brain to that idea of how things are done in tech. And then that goes on and on and on with you over time.
Mm, mm. Wow. So, Gabriel, like
Yeah.
now, someone listening right now, because I'm just trying to put myself to someone that is listening right now. So, why do people feel that tech is difficult?
I think people feel like tech is difficult because of the way they always see it from the outside. That's number one. And also
Okay.
there are also like specific group of people that also make tech sound too difficult. I mean, I'm not saying tech is easy. It's definitely there's a lot of challenge with it, especially
Mm-hmm.
the early phase.
Mm-hmm.
But tech is not necessarily difficult. It's just the viewpoint where you're looking at it from. And a lot of people that think that tech is difficult is because they are new to it. Imagine I want to start speaking Chinese. There's no way someone would tell me I will get into like a Chinese class today and I would not think Chinese is difficult because I've never spoken Chinese before. I don't have Chinese friends. Chinese will definitely be difficult for me at that point in time. But then with practice, with continuous repetition of tasks to actually help yourself, to get yourself, sink yourself into immerse yourself. That's probably the right word.
Mm-hmm.
Immerse yourself into like the continuous practice and
Mm-hmm.
continuous project would actually help you towards that point. So the challenge there is what makes people think is difficult. And I'll tell you why.
Mm. Okay.
Check people that say tech is difficult. Most of the time, they don't spend a significant amount of time. Tech is like a girl, it's like your girlfriend. Tech is
Mm.
like your wife. It
Mm-hmm.
needs attention, especially yeah, during the first few months of you getting into tech. You need to spend almost every single day doing something, even if it's an hour. You need to do something. Otherwise, you find out you are learning and you're coming back whenever you want to come back, and whatever you've learned before is gone, and then you still want to learn something new, and then you feel like it's overwhelming. Then everything gets compiled up, and you're like, oh, you know what, this is too difficult. But if you do it every day, it gradually becomes a part of you, and you get to a point where you're pretty much just on cruise control. So people who think tech is difficult, they don't spend time to practice. They
Now,
don't
another
spend time.
question is, I
Yeah.
want you to just tie this to it. Must I code to be in tech?
No, no, you absolutely do not have to code.
Can you talk more
The
about that, please?
Yeah, sure. There are different areas in tech. There is a technical part of tech, and there is the non-technical side of tech. But they are still tech at the end of the day. And when I mean technical, I'm talking about getting your hands dirty, like writing codes. There is a software engineering part of tech. The software engineering part is more of people that build applications, front end application, back end application, data applications, streaming application. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one part. They have to write code by every means. As a software engineer, that's like 80% of what you're doing. You're writing code.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there's also the infrastructure part of things, maybe like the buildings are like security. For
And that's
example,
where you come in now. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. I'm more towards like the infrastructure building, which is
Mm.
more like, creating virtual machines and setting up like the networking layer and all of that. So you can code to do that. You can also not code to do that. But to stand a bigger chance in the market, when you write code, it makes them have a feeling of, you understanding automation. Imagine you want to create 500 things at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
and I can do it in 5 minutes because I can write a code that would just automatically create them. But you, on the other hand, you are trying to achieve the same result, but it's taking you 5 hours because you have to manually do it. And that's where the disparity comes in, especially when it comes to like the area of cloud infrastructure and all those things. You
Mm.
don't have to write codes, but people who write code, they are efficient, they are prone to less mistake, they have
Mm.
more of a consistent way of working and getting better results, and they are also like the hiring manager's preference because everyone wants someone who understands how coding works. Even if you don't write it, if you understand the logic,
Mm.
and because at the end of the day, you will still be working with software engineers for the most part who
True.
write codes,
True.
and they want you to understand their logic, where they are coming from,
Mm.
understand how to help them deploy the application they built with codes.
True.
And the idea of writing codes will be coming in handy in that
Mm.
sense. Now, there is now the completely non-technical part of things, which is more like project management, scrum master, tech
Mm.
sales. In fact, there's even like some security that don't even require any coding at all. Like maybe you're doing just like monitoring logs, and even
Mm.
some data analysis don't even require coding. So
Mm.
those are more of like for the project management is really more like being a people person. Product
Yeah.
management, you know
Mm.
how to bring ideas to life. You know how to create roadmaps. You know how to conceptualize something that is not yet ready to, be go to live or go into the market, and you're
Mm.
able to create the breakdown of all of the requirements that are necessary. Now,
Mm-hmm.
even if you're technical, you still have more, you have some higher chance in that area also,
Mm.
because what that does is you can actually communicate better with the developers, telling them, okay, I think you can apply this, I think you can use this. And
Mm-hmm.
Scrum Master is more like, you know, working with engineers to for task delivery, making sure you're helping them organize the things they need to do, celebrating their wins, making sure you're like keeping up, helping them get on top of what they're doing,
Yeah.
and helping them, achieve the goal of the team.
Mm-hmm.
So those don't require coding; they just really require you to communicate, set up meetings, create different task lists, and assign to the right people, and give feedbacks and reports. And also
Mm.
the management side of tech, like there's a technical managers that don't write codes. They're just in charge of overall, just monitor, how performance is going, and give their feedback.
Mm. Yeah. So now I want to ask you, Gabriel, do you think your earning in tech generally also depends whether you code or not? Now I would explain. I want you to just give us an instance. For instance, oh, maybe you're a will I say a software engineer, you code a lot, and then this is your salary range per year, maybe $150,000 to $200,000. And then someone that has no tech knowledge earns maybe $50,000 to $60,000, and why? So I just wanted to just answer that, because a lot of people feel like, oh, I am not earning high because I don't have tech knowledge, or I can actually earn as high as someone that has coding experience, right? And I'm okay. You know what I mean? So having coding experience to higher income, or not having coding experience to having a lower income. I know you know what I mean. So can you just talk a little bit about that? Because
I
I think a lot of people have such confusions, in entering tech as well.
Yeah, I think it's very relative, and now it's
Okay.
relative to the company you're working for. It's relative to the experience you have,
Mm-hmm.
either ways. But let's do let's say let's just hold every other thing aside and let's create like a neutral ground, and let's think about it this way.
Okay.
So one thing is that there are so many people that are non-technical in tech
Mm-hmm.
than people that are very technical. That's the truth. And
Mm.
the reason is because, and that's not, and the reason is because the truth is people run from coding because they think, coding is so tough, it's hard. So
I'm
now, if
number one.
you exactly imagine you want to hire someone,
Yeah.
and then you get out there in the market, and it's you have out of you're looking for 3 engineers,
Yeah.
5 engineers applied because we have very few engineers, but you open the role for like a non-technical position,
Yeah.
and you only need 3 people and 45 people applied.
Mm-hmm.
What that would have done in I did economics in my undergrad. If
Mm-hmm.
there's too much, how do I put it? If there's too much in demand,
Demand.
we're
Yeah.
talking about the demand, actually supply,
Yeah.
supply
Supply.
of
Yeah.
labor.
Mm.
The supply could actually force down the price to an extent, depending on how you want to look at it. So,
Mm.
if there's so much of people that are saying, "Oh yeah, yeah, I could give my skill out," is going to force down the price in a way. And that's like the idea behind this. And also it's also bringing a lot of competition. So it's not even about earning high now, but it's even about what are the chances of you even getting a role in the first place. Because
Oh wow.
if you get a
Wow.
role, you can easily move up. You can actually, work your way up, become a manager, grow, get more money. There's almost no limits to it. But it's really the question of what chance do I stand in the market with this skill? So the truth is, the more technical you are, the more of a hot cake you would be. That's the truth. And there's
Mm.
no, denial, or there's nothing to fact check about it.
True.
If not a lot of people are doing something, it's just like, think about it now. If you have a superpower to turn something into, to lift a house,
Mm-hmm.
maybe only one person in your community can do it. You'll probably charge more for it. But if it's
Mm-hmm.
something anybody can do, you can
Mm.
charge for it, but it's
Yeah.
going to be a lot, you're going to be competing with a lot other people. And
Mm-hmm.
then that will put you in a situation where you don't even have an opportunity that would even let you grow in the first place. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really more towards the demand and not much of the money, because you can, I mean, the way it would work for someone who codes is they get salary bump because they want there is more incentive for people to apply and go towards that technical side. And I've been there before, and I'm saying that
Mm.
because my team have been in panel of interview where we're trying to hire people. And when it comes to like maybe like the scrum masters, product manager, we get so many volume of applications. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to developers that are actually working on projects that will be writing codes, is very few. And we are still begging people like, yo, do you know people that can do this, that can use these technologies, that can do that? And that's because when it comes to those areas, it's not people consider them tough, and they don't
Mm.
really, like, get into those parts very well.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
the that's the relativity there.
Yeah. Now, so like I'm beginning. You know why I'm asking you, like Gabriel? Thank you for these interviews because you totally veered me off my script. Because I want us to really, because a lot of people follow you on Instagram. You teach a lot of people. A lot of people look up to you. I didn't want us to talk about data and analyze these things in terms of the future and what tech has to give. Right now, I want us to just discuss about the whole tech footprint. From your analysis, we are having more of non-tech people into the space and less tech people. I just want
You're now listening to the young man with dreams. Stay connected.
in the field. I would put a word out there, tell people that this is not as technical as you think it is. Encourage people to come on the technical side because I think the whole footprint is really going to affect the future of tech. Having less technical people in the industry as opposed to having, at least let's get to a balance 50-50. I think that's
Yeah.
the fair. What do you have to say about that, please?
Yeah, I think it's actually it's a very, very interesting conversation that,
Mm-hmm.
it's been. However, it might come off as, but the truth remains one thing. Like, if there is always something that everybody runs from, that people consider tough, there will definitely be more opportunities there because it's tough to find people like that. So, in that sense, you can even be. So here is how it plays out. So the non-technical part of tech, even if you still want to remain there, try to build up a level of technical expertise that
Mm.
would make you stand out of the crowd. So, and that's because even so, because not everybody can, really get techie, and not everybody can really get, to even talk like, these non-technical people. But the
Yeah.
idea is that if the reason you are in the non-technical background is because you think the technical part is tough, you probably need to give it a try and see for yourself. Because a
Mm.
lot of people here, so I see a lot of people ask me for advice. So I'm trying to get into tech, and the first thing just says, "Oh, I just want to do Scrum because they said I heard Scrum is easy and Scrum you can even make more money and all of that, and I can quickly get a job." So my
Mhm.
question there is like, okay, I get it. Like even if people say this is first of all, it might not even necessarily be as easy as you're thinking, but let's say
Yeah.
it's actually easy from your
Yeah.
viewpoint. The technical side of things lack so like has a very very high shortage of people that
Mm.
are that are there, and it's affecting a lot of companies, and that is driving the demand for those talents up every single day.
Mm.
And it's worth actually getting yourself there and actually seeing for yourself how. And even in the tech part, it depends on how deep you want to go. If you're working, you can actually be technical and not be as technical as people that work for like bigger companies. And even people
Mhm.
that work for bigger companies, there's levels to it. you can
Yeah.
you can be technical, start from somewhere, try to get yourself up to speed by connecting with people that are already in the senior phase, talk to them, have conversations with them. Another thing you can do is to actually get in the non-technical parts and start interacting with the technical part of things. So that
Mm.
way you can actually grow from there. Because I've seen people become product managers, but their end goal is to actually become software engineers. But when you
Okay.
become a product manager, you are working in a team of software engineers.
Mm-hmm.
Make friends with them, interact with them, ask them questions, see what they are doing, start taking classes. And because by the time you start taking classes towards software engineering, then or trainings, whatever you're talking about in the team, how they are going about their task, might start making some sense to you. You can see the way they are applying things, and before you know, you can actually grow to be technical. So the goal is like, even if you're scared of being technical at this point, you should have an intention to probably grow into it if you can.
Mm.
Of course,
Mm.
if you test it, if it doesn't work for you, that is fine. But there's
Mm-hmm.
a big misconception that there's a very thin line between I cannot do this at all and I need to just push a little more. And I'm
Mm.
just having it at the back of my head that I can't. I could bet you a lot of people that are doing things that are non-technical in tech right now,
Mm.
a lot of
Mm.
them can actually do tech, like the
True.
technical part. It's just the way their brain is wired,
Mm.
and especially when you see codes, and there's also with the help of AI now, you can actually leverage you can get help from chat gpt. You can actually, as
Yeah.
long as
Yeah.
you understand the logic of what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things about tech is really built on logic. If you can
Yeah.
understand how logic works, and you can
Mm-hmm.
ask questions and you can interact, and you are ready to actually be consistent and give it a significant amount of time, you would actually grow pretty fast, and you'll be able to stand in a place where you are almost non-computable. It's like, and you're
Mm.
not worried about you wake up and
Yeah.
your job is gone.
Mm. So Gabriel, let's discuss real quick. Yeah. What's the future of tech now? Why I'm asking you this question here is you are someone you've schooled, you've worked for some people, you've worked for people, you've earned salary, right? Now you are working and running your own company. There's something you saw that made you to move towards that direction, right? What is the future you see in tech generally?
Um, the future I see in tech, I would say, from like a work, like from like a career perspective, is people who are ready to adapt to new changes will be able to leverage things like AI, machine learning to actually enhance their work and make their own life easier.
Okay.
And we will move towards a place where everyone would almost need to be technical, but not that really deeply technical. And those that are frowning against things like new innovations and machine learning, AI, they would almost be left behind. And a lot of jobs, the
Hmm.
truth is, like a lot of jobs will be replaced. But I always say one thing that you shouldn't be worried about AI taking your job. Also, yeah,
I was coming to that.
you should be worried about people who can actually use it to their own advantage. So
Mm,
it's that's sort of like what the future of tech looks like. The future of tech is more of someone who is able to combine different processes to achieve a common goal. So there would have been different pre-established solution, but you understanding how to combine those solutions together to achieve a common goal and then save money on it, save cost, and also make it efficient will really be the future of tech. So it's good to
mm,
actually start getting in that mode, you know.
why shouldn't we be scared of AI? And should we be scared of people using AI to their advantage? Why?
Well, the truth is, if you're not scared, okay, let think about I would say 2000, no, 1995. As of
Mm-hmm.
1995, if they tell you, 30 years from now, you'll be, no, actually, what am I saying? 15 years from now, you'll be able to call someone and you see them, like you'll be able to see them, like FaceTime them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It looks almost like magic and looks
Yeah,
like it's never going to happen.
true.
So, so it's the same thing about, AI. Like there's nothing to really be scared of. It's just innovation. It's just new things happening, and it's just bound to happen that there has to be like an movement of tech in itself. It can never stay in one place. So there's nothing to be worried about. The only thing to be worried about is you not ready to adapt to changes like that. If you
Mm,
let or maybe you want to remain very very myopic, or you want to just remain the traditional way. And
oh, I
the
see.
truth, the sad reality is the world will leave you behind and things
Mm-hmm.
will keep moving as they're moving. A lot of, we will grow older, the generation after us will come and they will
Mm-hmm.
adapt to it if we don't want to adapt to it. And then that's the same, pretty much the same thing going on with our parents' generation. A lot of things that they see now is strange to them.
Mm.
And some of them still frown at it, but we have accepted it as our own reality.
Reality, yeah.
And whatever is also coming after this, we should be ready to accept.
Ready?
Otherwise, our children will pick it up and they
Mm-hmm.
will use it to their advantage, and we will beg them and tell them to teach us how to use it.
True, true. So, thank you for like you feel of insight. My God, oh God, Gabriel, thank you. So, I wanted to ask you. So, I know people will be asking. So, do you still work for people on as per you work regular and then get paid, or you run your company full time and then get contracts, or how does it work for you now?
So as of now, I just work I have a full time job which I do, and I
Okay.
also have my startup. So the goal is to eventually transition from my full time fully out of the full time and then concentrate on the startup
Mm,
after we raise money, of course. So
mm,
right now, but I undertake contracts like currently, whenever people are trying to build infrastructures, I help them build their infrastructure. If they need me on a contract basis, I just come in and just help them out and then deliver the work and then create the support and then get out of that. So
mm.
that's more like the way my trajectory is looking right now.
Oh, okay. So, your company, right? Your company comes to me as I just want you to just talk a little bit about that. Is it tech chat, right?
Yeah,
So is it like in my own understanding, I from outside I see, oh, there's the teacher's teacher arm to it, and then um there is the learner's arm to it. Does
absolutely.
that, yeah, does is that how you work now? So I want to get into tech, and then I can come to the website and see courses I can go, like the like you talked about the roadmap, and then I learn and I get better.
Get
And
better. Yeah.
also there's an aspect to it that says you're already into tech and you're teaching people. You could just come also and I don't know. Can you talk more a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's a two-phase to it. There's the learners and there's the educators. So for the educators, it's very simple. Like
Mm,
one of the biggest challenges for people that are trying to teach other people is number one, why should you be stressing yourself about admin? Like
mm,
people on board, making sure they pay you, tracking
mm,
them, and all that. It's so much administrative work that I feel like you should just focus more on the teaching part because that's what you do best. So we come in
mm.
and we create an infrastructure for you. Think
Oh,
about
wow.
even building a software is expensive. So
Mm-hmm.
why would you go and spend thousands of dollars building an application when there's already an existing application that you can just get your space out of it
Mm-hmm.
and then bring your users, let them sign up there and be under you, and then they would do your courses. You get paid, integrate your payment system,
Wow.
and you issue them certificates of completion. Also, you can customize it to have your own logo and everything, and it's like tailored specifically for you.
For you.
And
Wow.
all you just do is just to if there are issues, if anything goes down, we are the ones that you call. You don't have to
Mm,
worry about paying an engineer or spending thousands of dollars to fix anything or
mm,
maintain it. So that's the idea for the educators, and also help them build like a reputation over time, get reviews, get a place where even if someone asks you, okay, do you have a platform? Yes, I do have a platform.
mm-hmm.
You have a subdomain, so you can actually have your own subdomain, meaning your company name.techchat.com. When people go
Mm,
there, it's like a website that is specifically made for you. So that's the
mm,
idea for that. And for the learners part, we we kind of like we stop the in-class training. So we do more of like just have videos and hands-on projects. So when people do trainings from different places, they can come and
mm,
practicalize what they've trained, like they
mm-hmm.
actually have a job and build a portfolio and have, that portfolio usable. Maybe when they're looking for a job, they can actually showcase and show it off and,
Mm-hmm.
have a credit to that.
Wow. So, what was the time that you thought like, you know what, I'm not gonna do this again? Like it was your lowest time, and what happened? Like, like you felt like giving up. In fact, you have given up. I said, you know what? Anything tech, I don't wash my hand come out. Like I'm not, like even tech track anything. I'm not doing. Like what was that like?
So this was actually this is always a very it's always an interesting moment when I have to reflect back on it. So there was a time. So before I released my version one,
Yeah.
everything was going on fine. We are 2 weeks away from releasing it. Then
Mm-hmm.
my back end engineer it just it just it practically just I had to let him go, and
Wow.
the reason is because it was a lot of issues I've been having with him, and there was
Mm,
this very day I asked him to do. There was a production issue we had to fix almost immediately, and he was just not answering the call. He was taking it with
wow.
levity. He was just joking around with it, and I was just like, okay, it looks like I don't think I can work with this person again with this kind of
Mm-hmm.
energy, knowing fully well that I'm launching in 1 week. So
Wow.
I let him go, and I have 1 week to find a back. No, I actually have 24 hours to find a back end engineer, and I was so desperate, and I was like, is this even going to work?
Work. Yeah.
Back end engineers, I was seeing only juniors, or I was seeing seniors that I couldn't afford,
Oh, yeah.
and I was looking for that mid range of somebody that was close to senior but not too senior, and just
Mm-hmm.
that could work with me. I didn't find anyone. Everyone I found, it was just like, oh, they had this, but no, they're not going to fit in. And then I
Wow.
started thinking like, okay, should I just abandon this thing and just take it out of the way? And that
Mm,
was one time that I felt like I don't think I should continue doing tech chat. And
mm,
I eventually my designer at he said he has a friend. It was just a casual, a conversation. He said, "Oh, I have a friend that might probably be able to do this." And
mm-hmm.
then the guy came. I had a conversation with him. I'm like, "How much are you gonna charge us for this thing?" He was like, "Don't worry, let me just solve your problem first. It's not
Wow.
about money."
Mm-hmm.
That just took me from like maybe
Oh.
10 feet below the ground. It just all the way up, and I was, I had the energy again and all that
Mm,
stuff. So
man.
that was one time that I know that I was close to giving up. Like, oh, I don't think I should continue this.
Oh, that's very, very motivating. So how do you manage, like, you work full time, you have your startup, I recently saw you do a presentation one time. You have a family, you married, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a child now.
No, not yet.
Okay, now, yeah, you married. I'm married as well, but I know how it can be.
Yeah.
So how do you balance this? Like, you're a young man. How do you make sure everything comes together? Like, how do you do it?
First of all, I feel like I've hacked time to an extent, and
Oh,
I
okay.
yeah, I take advantage of my mornings. So one thing I have noticed is if you know how to use your mornings very well, you would really
Mm,
get a lot of things out of the way. Personally,
mm,
to me, anything after 2 p.m. is flex. Honestly,
okay.
that's the way it rolls in my world. And
Mm,
I mean, it might not work for everyone, but I think a significant amount of people are missing out on the time they wake up.
mm,
I'm not saying everyone. There are some people that are just night people, absolutely. But the truth is, there's a different energy that comes with the morning. I wake up 5:30 a.m. every single day.
mm.
I make sure once I wake up, I actually have to even I practice my I play saxophone, so I practice
Yeah.
my saxophone to get myself ready, and I try to exercise in the house because I used to go out to the gym, but I feel like that was taking so much time to drive to the gym, then drive
Mm,
shower. So I just do my exercise at home, and then after that, I have meetings with my. So I get a lot of things done between. So I feel like the time is really, really slow between the hour. I don't know if there's a scientific proof to it. There are two things
yeah.
that happen between the hours of 5 and 11 for me. I
Mm,
feel like the time is almost double because I get things done pretty fast and it's
yeah.
not as fast as I'm thinking. And I
Mm-hmm.
get things done very so whatever I would assimilate in the evening that would take me 3 hours when it's if I do it 6 a.m., it takes me only 1 hour to
Wow.
assimilate.
Wow.
I've built that over time and it's really helpful. The only downside is that by 9:30 to 10 p.m. I'm
Yeah.
already shutting down.
True. True.
But I would rather I would rather spend that morning energy and get things out of the way than
Mm,
so I do a lot of my and I have a schedule. I
mm.
organize what I will do. I know what I'll do tomorrow. I know
Okay.
everything from point A to point B and I don't let anything interrupt my schedule except it's something that I have the bandwidth of time. Like my Fridays are very, very good for me.
Mm.
I free my Fridays up just to not constrict myself like I'm a robot. So that's why
Yeah.
we could even
Mm.
have this like, oh, quickly,
Oh,
oh yeah, you're ready to jump on a call. My
true.
Fridays are like that's I use it for that a lot.
Oh, I see. I see. Wow. Wow. And any final Gabriel, I think, like, I'm blown away, like, a lot going on for me right now. Any final words? So I let you go.
Well, final words, I would say it's mostly for people that are trying to advance in their
Yeah.
career.
True.
Is
True.
it's like a process, honestly. I
Mm.
think a lot of people that try to advance in their career or switch their careers, either tech, whatever, they are anxious to get this done immediately and they want to be a pro in like few months. And
Mm.
when they don't become that pro, they start either getting mad at themselves or discouraging themselves. But understanding that we all started from somewhere, it's a process,
Mm.
and the time is always different from for everyone. And understand what works best for you and enjoy the process. It would eventually come. So
Yeah.
don't wait to don't do not how do I put it now? Like I whenever if I want to get something done, I don't know how to procrastinate. I just
Mm.
start right away because a year from now you wish you started a year ago. So
True.
you always want to take advantage of time. And
Mm.
yeah, that's sort of one thing I have. Process. Enjoy the
Yeah.
process of time and live in it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So, and finally, before you jump out, how can we get you? Socials, emails, like, what's
Oh
the
yeah.
best way?
Sure, I can be reached at Gabe at techchat.com if there are questions related to like knowing more about me or also
Mm,
learning about TechChat. You can use info at techchat.com to get, more questions about what we do. My Instagram is Plato underscore 15, and
mm,
our TechChat's Instagram is TechChat HQ.
mhm.
Same for our Twitter, Plato underscore 15 Twitter, TechChat HQ for Twitter also.
All right, thank you so much, Gabriel. Like, thank you. I can't say thank you enough. Thank you for the
Thanks.
wealth of knowledge
Yeah.
and insight. Thank you so very much. All right, ladies and
Thanks for
gentlemen,
having me, man. I appreciate you.
oh yeah.
Oh,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, of course,
right.
come to the end of this today. And next Friday, I got another guest for you. All right, stay tuned. Keep being inspired. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Yes.
Yeah. Wow, thank you so much, guys, for being with me till the end of this particular episode. And I hope you enjoyed it. See you next Friday. Keep being inspired. Bye.
The young man with dreams.